My name is Yosef Elion. I was born in northeastern Louisiana. I grew up in a very Christian culture and at an early age became very interested in studying the Bible. Over time I became more and more passionate in studying the Bible and devoted to what I understood to be the truth. And in seeking to live as a devoted Christian and to follow in the paths of Christ, I made most of my spare time become consumed in study of the Bible and spreading the message of the gospel, God's free gift of salvation through His Son. The more I studied, the more certain key aspects of what I believe to be the basics of salvation and our purpose for life came to be doubted in my mind. Among the many things, there were three main things that led me over time to abandon Christianity and, to the shock of most who knew me, not only abandon Christianity but become Jewish. Although this was not an issue of salvation or me thinking that I had to do so, become Jewish in order to have eternal life. The matter of being Jewish is not a salvation issue. There is a concept called the laws of Noah, which the understanding of the Torah, the law of Moses, as received by the people of Israel, regards the obligations of the nations of the world, that they do not have to become Jewish. That's a personal choice that I made. Anyway, the three main things that over time my study of the Bible and research into the original languages and discussing with pastors and other Christians are the following. One, the concept that the Almighty changed and became a man. I've put up several clips regarding that. I will clarify it soon. The second thing is the idea that the law of Moses, though it is true and still perfectly preserved for us, as is fundamental in Christian belief, I came to doubt the idea that it is no longer to be upheld as a practical guide for everyday life. And the third major thing is the idea that one's eternal life, salvation, forgiveness from sins, depends upon his conscious knowledge of and acceptance of an individual who died for his sins. The main reason why I came to doubt these things are because I don't find them based at all in the Tanakh, the Hebrew Bible, or the Old Testament as most Christians call it. I understand the reasons why most Christians believe these things to be in the Tanakh and the Old Testament, although I believe that their reason for thinking so is due to lack of study or mistranslation. Not necessarily one or the other, it could be various degrees of a combination of these two. I will just give you a few reasons for my thinking each of these three things. In trying to understand the Bible, there are many verses and passages that seem to conflict with each other. So if one wants to make any sense of it, he should strive to find the most consistent way of understanding various apparently contradictory passages in regard to each topic that he's studying. I came to understand that the most consistent way of understanding the Bible with regard to the Almighty is that He is an absolute one, incomparable to any unity or oneness in creation. This is not merely a philosophical thing. There are many passages in the Bible which indicate this. Among them, you can find in the book of Hosea, chapter 11, verse 9, that the Almighty says that He is not a man. Ki el onochi v'lo ish, for I am God and not a man. In the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 6, we find For I am the Lord, and I do not change. Therefore you sons of Jacob are not consumed. From this, we find that the Almighty is not subject to time. He doesn't change. If he were to have become a man, as clearly implied in the first chapter of the book of John, the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, this would mean that he went from not being a man to being a man. That doesn't go along with the verses presented in the Tanakh and the Hebrew Bible. For more information on that, you can either check out my website, or you can look at the various clips I've uploaded on the issue. The second thing concerns the idea that the law of Moses has been fulfilled in the sense that it no longer should be upheld as a practical guide for everyday life, apart from certain basic moral obligations. That I find problematic due to various verses in the Bible. Among them, various verses and the law of Moses. I will give you a few. Leviticus chapter 3 verse 17. There it says, "It is a law forever throughout your generations in all your dwelling places." Leviticus chapter 6 verse 18. "It is a permanent law throughout all your generations." Leviticus chapter 6:22. "By an eternal ordinance it shall be entirely offered." The term eternal, everlasting commandment, perpetual commandment, all of these terms, depending on which translation you use, they're almost always translations of a key Hebrew term, which means eternal, unending. Ad ulam, or huk ulam, an everlasting statute. There are many of such passages. Just do search in any Bible website and you will come across them. Numbers chapter 15 verse 15 says, "As for the community of Israel, there shall be one law for you and for the one who immigrated in or joined with you, an eternal law throughout your generations. As you are, so shall the immigrant or the convert be before the all-transcendent one." Numbers chapter 19 verse 21, "It is a law forever for them." Deuteronomy chapter 29 verse 29 says, The revealed things are to us and to our sons forever to do all the words or matters of this Torah. The third thing concerns the idea of our salvation, eternal life, depending upon an individual who gave up his life or was a sacrifice. The problem with this is that, for example, even let's take Isaiah chapter 53 and assume that it's the Messiah. You will find nowhere in this chapter that the atonement made by this suffering servant is only effective for those who are consciously aware of the individual who suffered. Even if this is what's written, it must be understood in the context of the law of Moses. Otherwise, it would be contradicting the law of Moses. And as we find taught in the law of Moses, the first eternally binding revelation given by the Almighty to man, we find a concept in Deuteronomy chapter 13, that the way in which we know whether a prophet is a false prophet is by whether he seduces or leads the people of Israel astray, away from the path in which the all-transcendent commanded them to walk, as it says in Deuteronomy 13 verse 5, that he will seduce you to go away from the path in which the all-transcendent, your exceedingly powerful authority, commanded you to walk. It's understood throughout the Bible that the path in which he commanded them to walk was according to the law of Moses. For example, 2 Kings 23 verse 3 through 25. To walk after the all-transcendent and to keep his commandments and his testimonies and his statutes with all the heart and with all the soul, to carry out the words of this covenant that were written in this book, according to all the law of Moses. These verses make me ask, does the New Testament teaching teach the Israelite to walk contrary to the law of Moses given by the Creator, who does not lie nor change?